Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, Scott Hammond with the 100% Humboldt podcast with my old and new best friend, Tom Rector. Hi, Tom.
Hello.
How's your day?
It's full.
It's full. We were just talking about that off the air, how full this thing gets sometimes. And I'm just coming off a time in Oregon and you're going back up. So go figure.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird having time off and then coming back and having this compressed day where you're in front of a computer. And I forgot how foggy that can make me when I'm just exposed for too long. But so tell us the Tom Rector story. You're the owner. One thing you do is you own Thomas Home Center in McKinleyville.
Correct.
And tell us the entire Tom arc.
The Tom arc, huh? How much arc do you want to that?
Oh, you decide.
Okay.
Maybe the highlights.
It's
like the Facebook highlight reel.
Well, let's see. I'm almost a local. My folks came into the area when I was 4, and they stayed in the old housing up there on Harris, where the mall is now.
Oh, the projects.
Yeah, projects. Yeah, they stayed there until they had a house built up on Humboldt Hill, and so then my youth was spent on Humboldt Hill there, and then from there, of course, at 17 or so, I was ready to move on because I knew everything. Right
at 17, you pretty much do.
Yeah. It's they say hire them at 18 because they know everything. Right.
Yeah,
I fit that bill.
But did you get hired?
I did. So that includes South Bay School there for elementary and Jacobs when it existed.
Remember that?
Yeah, and Eureka High.
Sure.
Just kind of the go down the middle of the road kind of thing. I got it. I wanted out as soon as possible. So the second half of senior year was just a half-day school, so I could be working, and that all worked out really well. And I figured I was going to work for my dad and his business. His business was Bailey Suit, and of course, then I got to be an old 18-year-old and thought I knew everything, right? So
way more than Dad.
Yeah, way more than Dad. And from there, I went and found other employment. And coincidentally, just totally coincidentally, I ended up getting a flunky job working for a general contractor, Marvin Condit. And I worked for him for, I don't know, some months, maybe a year, don't remember exactly. And he ran out of work, so he loaned me out to another contractor, Lloyd Staggs, and worked for him for a few months. And then I, of course, knew everything there was to know about it, so I broke off and went and built some apartments and worked with a contractor under his license and independently and made an arrangement with him and built some apartments and then got a contractor's license. I think I got it around 72, so I was probably around 22 or something like that. And then once that was, then I really knew my stuff then, right?
You're really on your game.
Yeah, so we started building houses and we discovered the Farmers Home program financing, which allowed people to get a home without any down. But the program had really stringent criteria with regard to no fluff, no frills, and they assured that by having low values that they had for it. So we figured out how to build under that program. And Shelley, my wife, we just celebrated 55 years.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah. So she did all the paperwork, hallelujah, and I did go to homes and talk to people and organize it and run crews and stuff. So you work during the day with your hands and work with your smile in the evenings with folks, and we did quite a bit going on. And there was a house up on Humboldt Hill that we were working on at the time, and we were getting delivery of the trusses, and the driver commented that the gentleman that owns the local trust plant at that time, his name was Paul Lindley. He was looking at selling his trust plant, and so that intrigued me. And so I went over and talked to him. Hey, I heard you were going to sell this. And the end result is I sold a bunch of rentals to get enough money to get a decent down payment, went and talked to the banker. And in those days, bankers could actually make a decision at the local level.
Right. Remember that?
Yeah, I still remember that. It's gone, but I remember it.
Yeah.
And
with a handshake sometimes.
Yeah, almost. And of course, I'm just a kid at that point in his eyes.
Sure.
Not my eyes, obviously. But so anyway, we bought the truss plant and ran a construction company and did the trusses. And that was in 75.
You still do, right? Make trusses?
We still do. That's one of our divisions. Yes.
That's cool.
Yes.
Two things that stand out. Shout out to Shelley, by the way. Hi, Shelley. I know you're going to see this sometime. And I understand has her contractor's license.
She does.
Cool.
She's the one who holds the Oregon contractor's license, and I hold the California contractor's license.
So you can go both ways.
Yeah. She was tickled pink, too, because she went in. She was in her late 60s when she went in to get her contractor's license, and they kind of gave her an eyeball. Why are you here, lady? And she was one of the first to complete the test and leave. So she was really pleased about that.
Yeah. Now we go back a ways. Yeah, that's really a great story. I want to go back to Bailey suits because that's for those out there that'll know what that was. They were commercial wetsuits manufactured in Fortuna. They were world class dive suits, right?
Yeah,
for cold water.
Yeah, he started wetsuits, yes, as opposed to dry suits. And he started that when we were in the project, which would be 70 years ago. He started that, and he did it. It was an extension of his enthusiasm for diving.
What's his name?
Carl Rector.
Okay.
And so he just started out of a closet and built the business up, and it became national, international. And then toward the end of his career, he moved into exposure suits. There was some laws changed where boats had to have exposure suits. So people jump into the suit before the boat sinks, and so they can survive. And he did really well on that. But that waned and went away, and so his last years were pretty tough financially, pretty tough for him. So
business is tough, as you know.
Every day you got to be on.
That's true. Yeah, and if you're not moving forward, you're going backward.
Yeah.
Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. That's true. So tell us more. Did you ever do any university studies, or did you go straight into the trades?
The only dabbling in that is CR for 4 accounting classes. So that I needed that, wanted that for the balance sheet and income statements and stuff, because you got to run a business by the numbers, right?
Yeah, you have the demeanor of a well-educated man.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I got the bald head for it, too.
Like I say, I got the lumps on my head for it. School of Hard Knocks. I have a master's and a doctorate.
I've had folks comment about, I spent $100,000 or $300,000 for my education. And I says, that's cheap compared to the school I went to of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, the ebbs and flows and the profits and losses. 55 years of marriage. I applaud you, man. I just hard stop on that, because marriage is such a cool and amazing and multifaceted journey. And kudos to you and Shelley. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And 5 kids?
5. Yeah, 4 surviving. And met Shelley. There's 16s and 17-year-olds, married at 18.
She's from Eureka as well?
Yeah.
Wow. Just started dating and...
No, we started by me teasing her in the hallways of the school first. That's where we started, right? And then you progress to something good.
Like any good relationship. That's good. And 5, wow, that's neat. And I know Shannon, of course. Hi, Shannon. Shout out to Shannon. And does your son still run Thomas Home Center in McKinleyville?
So we ended up with 2 girls and 3 boys. The girls were the youngest and the oldest. And the second born, Nathan, from the time he was 17, 18 years old, he took over all of the technology part of the company and software, writing software and hardware and all that kind of stuff. And he went out on his own and has had his own business for 20 or 30 years probably.
So you adopted tech early.
So, yeah, we were. Yeah. I talk about, we got these cell phones, right, and they can do all these kinds of things. And when I started, we had a IBM 32, and it was the size of a nice desk.
Yeah.
And it only had like 4 lines or so. It was the progress has been tremendous. But,
oh, yeah.
And it's cool.
And CAD drawing and the whole nine.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
So he's an early adopter. Now, did you guys homeschool? Did I remember that right?
We did the second set. Our parenting thing has been we raised 2 children. When they're out of the house, we started over with 3 more.
Wow.
And the younger 3, there was, we were pretty, when you get to do it a second time, just kind of review what you did, there's things of improvement, right?
Always, yeah.
And one of them was that we were very clear that the school needed to fit the children rather than the children fit the school.
Good word.
So we chose different school scenarios depending on the need and the ages that were going on. So, and one of those was homeschooling for a while.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I think we knew you guys back in the day. And you must be a fabulous expert on parenting.
I don't know anybody's an expert.
You know a thing or two. I'm leading into further discussion later on. If you're just joining us, my great friend Tom Rector talking about his history in Humboldt and his business, and we're going to get into involvement in kids and CASA and your avocation for children and kids and their parents, right? And what you're all about there. Let's talk about McKinleyville first.
Okay.
We'll go back to McKinleyville since I'm going back there tonight anyway.
Okay. It's a long ways away.
Yeah, it's 22 minutes and there's one traffic stop at the end of Eureka. And if you're really smart, you use the cheater lane, which I talked to the guy that designed it for Caltrans.
Okay.
He goes, it's designed for cheating.
Oh.
Coming in, you have 3 lanes now at Eureka. Coming out, you got 3. So it mitigates traffic. It modulates a lot of what our backups to. I tend to be digressing here, so. So you've seen McKinleyville through a few changes after you bought Whipple's building supply, right?
Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
That was in 1984.
Crazy. So 94, 40 years?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And you're multi-division there. You guys have a lot of.
We do. We have 4 main divisions. They our truss operation that we had taken on 74, 75. Our home improvement division is based off of our general contracting. We started in 72. And then when we purchased, and it was Earl Whipple's business at that particular time, he was 65 or so when he retired and was selling.
Nice guy.
He was a challenge if you were on the opposing lines.
Okay.
If you're on the same line, he was a great person.
Yeah.
Great person.
Don't get on his bad side.
He just knew how to take care of his interests and what should be done. And he had his strong beliefs, and like so many of us do when we're that age.
Sure.
Right? So his business was the retail store lumberyard, and he had a overhead door business that was with it too. So those 4 divisions are what makes up Thomas Home Center at this point in time. And then each of those divisions evolve and shift and shuffle based off the market conditions and the products that are available. And
brilliant. Good business model.
Well, the focus really is about the homeowner, the person who owns the home. And we obviously help commercial businesses in the garage door business, and we have several of the Caltrans contracts for the overhead door business. But the general focus is on the folks who own homes, and they're either fixing them up or getting ready to move out of them, and right at the moment we're doing a lot of work with regard to aging out conditions, so handicap and stabilizing and easy access to showers and things like that. So,
I heard a stat yesterday. We were up in Oregon. 28% of America lives alone as elders.
Okay.
I'm going, that's stunning. If it's 20, it's a lot. To almost a third are solo seniors.
Oh, yeah.
With nothing and nobody.
Yeah.
I'm going, wow.
And I see a lot of them. I see a lot of them, and so many times it's ladies. And they need somebody they can trust.
Sure. And they got it with y'all.
Well, I think so.
You should. Yeah. You earn that every day. Yeah. So you bought from Earl, and he sold that whole thing.
Right.
And then you diversified it. Where do you make the trusses? Are they made in Valley West somewhere? I don't remember.
Really? Originally, the truss operation was on Gentoli Lane.
That's right.
And we were there for a couple decades. And then we made some modifications to the warehouse there on Sutter Road and moved the truss division up there, which had two benefits. One is that it reduced some costs, but more importantly, it made it easier to run the business because you can just go out to the backyard rather than driving down. So it was, but it was a big deal, a really big deal at the time. So yeah, it's back there. You don't see it.
I was going to say, it's pretty concealed.
Yeah, it's in the backyard.
You don't hear much. Yeah, my son Jesse worked for you for a season or two. He's a doctorate student at Davis, and now lives in Amsterdam with his sweetheart.
Wow, that's a long ways away. Did he pick the furthest place from you?
No, they looked all over the world. She got a job in Nike Europe, which sounds really sexy, but apparently they're not that efficient up on top. So I don't know. What are you going to do? But they looked all over. They wound up in this town south called Utrecht, which is about a third of the size of Amsterdam, but all the same features: canals, bikes, mass transit, beauty.
Okay.
And they love it. They don't want to move back, and bought a very expensive flat, but love everything about it. It's lots of art and culture, and just a cool place to live and visit.
That's good.
And we get to go back once a year and say hi. So let's talk about kids. So kids have been in, well, I don't want to say trouble. Kids have been a challenge since I think the earth began. But kids today will go. Well, let's fast forward through history. Wow,
that was a short history lesson.
where do you? So kids have challenges, and kids and families.
Okay.
And I want to premise this with before we talk about your advocating for all of us parents who need help with kids and kids that need help with their parents. It's a tough go, man, and I'm understanding at 65, I'm still 25 or 35 inside, but it's a tough thing watching my kids raise their kids. I mean, in quote, typical families. So I can imagine that the atypical in our communities have a heck of a time that don't have money or privilege or resources or schools or parents that give a darn. There's them. And I just kind of, that heart for kids, I think we share that. And I want to know more about yours, and tell me about foster care and adoption and CASA, and maybe touch on some of those things you've been involved with.
Well, as I said, we raised two children, and then we started over with three more, and our two youngest of those three were adopted to us. One came to us at 8 months, and the other one, the youngest, came to us at birth.
Wow.
And the reason we did that is because we enjoy being parents. That's the motivator. There's reason for it. So we ended up parenting for 40 years instead of 20.
Attaboy.
So
me too. Me too.
You too. Yeah.
42.
Yeah. And the experience, though, the second time around was different than the first time for two reasons. One is that we had adopted children, and 2 is the world had changed and changing kind of thing. And so how do you navigate all of what I would call slippery slopes that are out there for the kids? And so in my particular case, I was very active in advocating. And so CASA, as you mentioned, that was Casa of Humboldt, was a place that I originally signed up to volunteer. And that happened the day that the adoption papers went through for our first child.
So CASA's court appointed.
But it's special advocate, yeah. And that it just there's so much to do in that area. And I ended up with one case, 2 boys, 9 and 11, and I was with them until they aged out of that situation. The learning of it is that it's not simple. It's just not simple. The learning of it is the resources that are out there to help are spotty at times, are just not deep enough to help out.
Is that California or Humboldt in particular?
Well, my personal experience is California, both Humboldt and Del Norte. I don't have personal experience with other areas, but all of the people that I've spoken to, it seems to be the situation. I many times have said, as if everybody could be a foster parent for a couple of years, they would vote differently on a number of things, right? Just because knowing makes a difference on the judgment call, right?
Sure.
So anyway, the experience of being an adoptive parent, the splat in the face was that what makes sense and works and creates a productive result with my own birth children didn't work for the adopted children. And I went searching for why. Why is that? What is going on? And the learned lesson out of that, which wasn't overnight, but learned lesson of that, was the genetics of the person are profoundly important to understanding how to parent that particular child.
Wow.
And that was a foundational component of further research and development and advocacy and teaching that I do now.
And some of the work that you do in the presentations and speaking.
Right.
World famous speaker, I hear.
World, I don't know. Maybe they hear me over there on the other side.
They probably. Well, there's the internet. I think you touched on something that's really key, and I read this recently. The raising of kids in the last 50 years, 60, just name a window, took this major change from an analog world to a digital world.
Right.
And it's no small thing, and it's still morphing. So you got I've watched my 21-year-old go nuts on Instagram, and just like that's some sort of reality for him. And I'm going, wow, things have really quite shifted. And he's a bright kid, but I'm going, you can't adopt values or opinions from not only third world, but virtual third world. It's that's far away. So the challenge is interesting. So your genetics. So how would one determine how to reparent or do a parenting job different with an adopted kid?
Well, the teaching and the trainings that I provide and have provided for the last couple decades is that there's essentially 3 things that you need to know and understand of each person, each child. One is, what are their memories? 2 is, what is their genetics like? And 3 is to remember they're a human and have a clear understanding of what is humanity. And that's lost. A whole lot of that is lost. And so what people will hear in my training, a small piece of it is, we need to remember that we as a species are wanting to be an individual,
Mhm.
but concurrently with that, we want to belong to a group.
Yeah.
And those are opposites.
Right.
They're opposites,
Right.
and yet we want to we need both. We need both of those.
Mhm.
And we need to also understand as humans is that our strength that we draw upon to promote our survival, like don't be anxious kind of thing, or get out of the way of the truck, or whatever it
Mhm.
is that we have adaptive behavior,
Mhm.
that we choose to change our behavior to enable us to navigate the world around us. And to do that, we use our memories.
Hmm.
And we need to come to a clear understanding that our memories are the foundation of whatever choices we make.
Hmm.
And so if you want to make a difference, you want to have an impact, you want to empower someone, it's knowledge. It's knowledge, memory, and whether that's a skill or it's an education or it's an experience, however you get those, they're all the same thing. They're all memories that you draw upon. So the choice that you make is going to depend on those memories. And how you do that how you choose to use those memories is going to be affected by your genetic nature.
Hmm.
So if you're an introvert or you're an extrovert,
Mhm.
or you're a tactile learner, or you're an intellectual learner, all of this.
Audio learner?
Yeah, audio learner, visual,
Do you hear that out there? Audio.
audio. Um, so if we want to be successful in the parenting as much as possible, we need to start from that place and be very dialed into what
Yeah.
our child or our person or our spouse and then we need to be able to communicate in whatever fashion
Mhm.
that registers through their filters.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to worry about that 40 years ago because there was not as many slippery slopes. There wasn't the ability to go around the power centers.
Mhm.
You can now go directly to wherever you want in the world at any one time and get that information and believe it or not believe it. So
Mhm.
that's the fundamentals of that is to
Mhm.
be able to.
I like that. So I resonate with that. And I think that's why we homeschooled, because you could gear the curricula around the kid.
Mhm.
Audio learners galore, and Kalia was a tactile learner. She's very good with her hands, still is, and so we were able to take kids to that next level by feeding them correct curricula in a environment that met their need
Right.
and their gift
Right.
and their genetics.
Right.
So I get that. I also no, I think that's great, and I wonder how that plays into the 5 languages of love that Townsend and his partner wrote. Cloud and Townsend wrote this book. So we have these 5 languages: acts of service, words of encouragement, tactile touch, gifts, giving a gift. Some people really love that one, and so these are fundamental languages, especially. Well, not just with romantic couples, but with people. So I think of those, and I equivocate to some of the stuff you're talking about, and I go, oh, okay. You have to meet people where they are, is what I heard you just say.
Right. Right. Right.
But with specificity, how do we? If I understand this person's had trauma, I'm going to deal differently. First of all, they're valued and they're beloved and they're people. Let's go with that law first.
Right.
Secondly, let's meet it. If I'm going to serve others and be on a noble mission that I hope I'm on, and we're on as a country, as a world, I'm going to meet needs, which means looking for them
Or recognizing them.
and recognizing them. Yeah, and that's all training. And I think I love this because this is all learned skills that I could learn this.
Right.
If I could learn mechanics or computing or podcasting, why can't I learn to read to my kids or my friends or my wife
Right.
and adapt my behavior my needs, my whatever, to them. And I think I don't want to go too deep into your material because I think I get it. I like it. And I'm excited a little bit about it. But I think what it presumes is that I would be of service. Once I had that knowledge and that skill set, that I could be, for lack of better words, just of service to others, to help, to be helpful.
Yeah, and I guess I would be a little broader in that, in the sense that if you can truly recognize the individuality of the person, then your ability to communicate is going to be more successful.
Mm-hmm.
And communication is where all the relationships are.
Yeah.
That's where all the things happen.
The connection.
The connection. So it essentially applies to all. Mm-hmm. And it can be targeted or used more explicitly in special situations, but it's all over.
So my notes say biosocial cognition.
Yes.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a biology piece of it, and there's also the environmental piece.
There is the biology and the recognition mm-hmm. of the intellectual recognition, and so it's really straightforward. Is who's the person, mm-hmm. and understand that as humans, how we use those pieces of the person and their memories mm-hmm. and their genetics mm-hmm. and the person. So if we don't understand or recognize or know what those memories are,
or want to,
and if we don't recognize and accept that the person that we're talking to is not me, it's you, mm-hmm. Then our opportunity to successfully communicate with this person is going to be inhibited. Mm-hmm. And all of that is, if we just focus on it and become aware of it in that particular fashion, mm-hmm. we recognize it, we can see it, mm-hmm. we can be trained to be more dialed in, we can be trained to be more sensitive to it, mm-hmm. But we have the capacity to do it on an individual level. It's person by person. Mm-hmm. So that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. We want to also understand human nature, and human nature is such that whatever our behavioral choices are, they are at the most fundamental level promoting our survival. Whether it's just I feel more comfortable, or I'm going to jump out of the way so I don't get run over. Mm-hmm. All of those are fit into to the conversation of survival.
Yeah.
So
you bring up a paradox, though. So if there's me trying to be the individual and also fitting into community, mm-hmm. now we have a perhaps conflicting interest, maybe not. Frank Zappa is famous, the artist. The Rolling Stones and the Beatles used to come to L.A. to see Frank.
Okay.
Because he was a genius musician and apparently a lot of fun. But he saw all the kids at the concerts wearing Levi's and T-shirts like you and I did it 100 years ago. And he goes, "You're all in uniforms and you've all conformed in your non-conformity."
Yes, right.
and the paradox of that, I'm going, yeah, me too. I wear a vest just like all old farts do and have a goatee and run around with some bling on. I guess I've conformed. And an iWatch. Hey, let's see your iWatch. You and I see we've conformed. So it's an interesting conundrum. Mm-hmm. And how can we help people be individuals and still feel part of a community? And tough one, especially these days, because now my community lives in here. Hey, what's up? Here's my echo chamber, mm-hmm. telling me all the things that I want to hear and know, and reinforcing all my BS narrative, some of which is probably whatever. So interesting. Any comment on that?
Which part of it? The BS part?
Well, no. Just the fact that there's this duality to all people.
Yeah.
That I want to be expressive and creative and understood, an individual, but I also really need I really need people, and that's okay. That's all okay.
So, one of the teachings, niche training courses I have is around what I call the agreement process. And I teach it to the teens and I teach it to the parents, both. And I choose to do that not concurrently because it's one language for the teens and it's another language for the parents. A component of that teaching is what is maturity? What we know it when we see it, but what is it? And so I've chosen to name it, and I've named it through an acronym of SHRR, SHRR, self-sufficient, honest, responsible, and respect. And what that does is allow the person to be an individual and at the same time coexist productively with others. Because if you respect that you get to be who you are and I get to be who I am, and I'm responsible for whatever I choose to do, and I choose to be self-sufficient, not dependent, and honesty has to do with an investment in the future relationships. So by naming that and giving the youth that as the measure of maturity, it makes sense to them. And I've taught in the locked up probation kids in Del Norte, and the reviews I've gotten from the staff there is that I'm the only one that they've listened to.
Wow.
The other ones they just
attend
with it. Yeah, attend, right?
Yeah,
like because I have to, right?
Yeah.
So to answer the question is maturity allows us to coexist and be a person. And how do we name that so it can be understood rather than you're not acting mature?
Right.
Or you need to act mature. So it quantifies it.
Sorry about that. That's only happened twice in 91 editions.
All right. I'm special.
I'd call that emotional intelligence too. It's been written about. It's same sort of idea. And go with SHRR again. So
self-sufficient, honest, responsible, respect.
Respect. I like that.
And those are, each one of those are an investment both in the individual themselves and an investment in the relationship with the others for the future. So,
honesty is a deposit you're making in a relationship.
Yep.
I like that. If you're just joining us, it's my friend Tom Rector talking about a whole bunch of cool stuff. And we'll get back to that in a minute. Real quick, if one wanted to reach out to you, I'll give you another shout out here in a minute, but how would we get a hold of you, talk to you, talk about curricula, go to the website? How are you connected to?
So our website is Accrescent Institute, and you go online, and there's all kinds of material there and trainings that are available for all different audience interests, needs. There's the ability to do one-on-one. There's the ability to do Zoom trainings in small groups, and then, of course, I could go on site. We list on the site also the upcoming trainings that we do at conferences. For example, Saturday, I'll be in Washington State doing a presentation training, 2 of them actually. One is on the agreement process, and one is focused on the IEPs that are done in schools.
Sure.
And that we'll be doing that on Saturday. And then the next one is National Head Start in Orlando in December. So there's multiple ways to connect. First step is to come on the website and just kind of look it over and see how it works.
Accrescent Institute.
Accrescent Institute.
Accrescent.
Accrescent. ACCRESCENT.
Okay. Institute. Or we could Google or Chat GPS Tom Rector. I bet you come right up.
Probably there.
Which is the more cool kid, modern, digital way. Hey, how do I get to Washington State?
Right.
Yeah, right.
I was just told the other day is that, you can say, hey, Siri, where am I? What's the address?
Mhm.
And it'll give you the address of wherever you are. I thought.
I hadn't thought of that. That's, the tech, you and I have seen a lot of tech. Hey, so I want to do the quiz part, and we'll come back to a little bit more of the stuff. So this is the fun part where you can win. Oh, Tom, what do we have for you here? A Dick Taylor hazelnut milk chocolate bar to eat all the way back to Oregon tonight, if you wish. Made with 55% Alexander Family Farm A2 milk, which is up in Smith River, as you might know.
Okay.
Question number 1. I'm not going to go easy on you either, so you got to earn this candy bar.
I like chocolate.
Okay, good. What's your best day? What's been your best day of your life, or one of the best days of your life? That's unfair to ask for the best day.
By golly, I guess I don't really think about best days. Let me think a minute. So, there's a lot of best days. Probably the good starting place is the day Shelley agreed to marry me.
Wow. Were you on bended knee in Eureka somewhere? Or?
Pretty close.
Uh-huh.
Pretty close.
And what'd she say?
The very first answer was yes. So she didn't have to think about it. So that was good.
That's good. Positive response. Hey, question number 2. Worst day of your life, or one of the worst, the tough day?
Our son died.
I bet, yeah. That would be hard.
It is.
Yeah. Rough. I'm sorry. Question number 3. What do you find fulfilling?
I enjoy creating a solution to something,
Mm-hmm.
and when it's for someone. So, for example, a kitchen remodel. How do I make this nicer in here? And I'm able to come up with something that really brings it all together for them, and they just go, "Yeah."
Nice. You saw it somewhere before they could
and
see
it isn't just kitchens. I mean, there's all kinds
Right.
of situations. But
I have a son-in-law like you. He goes, see this? This is and I'm going, I can't see it, but keep talking. Not very creative up here, but you are, and you're bringing it to life by virtue of your descriptors. And here's what I would do. I would put,
Right.
Do this landscape and do this with the door and blah, blah, blah. Number 4, what do you find soul crushing for you? What just zaps you of life when you experience it?
That's not a space I have.
Good. Okay, good answer. Number the question. You can take Shelley anywhere to dinner in Humboldt. It's on Joni and I. Where do you go? Where do you go out to eat?
Well, Shelley's not in Humboldt.
I know that. But she could be someday.
And she can't go out in public activity places now, so it's not something given much thought of.
Okay.
So maybe in past years, it would be pretty fancy salad at Wendy's.
There you go. It kind of begs the question. I was going to maybe hold this in abeyance. Back in the day, I would see Tom frequently at McDonald's. I was on my sales route selling ads for the Tri-City Weekly newspaper or Cox Cable or Suddenlink. And hey, Tom, what's up? Here you are at McDonald's. So McDonald's was your go-to.
It was a go-to. They had a salad back when they had salads, and salad was a good thing.
They don't anymore, huh? It's all different.
Yeah. I think the COVID shot that down. But yes, and I could go there, set up the laptop, and work away, and all the noises and all the issues and all the problems. Not one of them had anything to do with me.
Right.
So it was actually kind of white noise.
Third space.
Yeah. So it's really just kind of my own private room of being able to work on focus projects.
And there's more coffee if you need it.
Well, I don't drink coffee, so I didn't need it.
Don't worry. You didn't need it. So don't worry about it. Well, great answers. What do you do for fun, bonus question. What's a perfect day for you?
Oh, I would say there's multiple ones. Can I give a multiple answer?
Of course, yeah, just elements of the multiples.
So, dancing to some good music. That's a really good.
You're a dancer.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought that, and I would have thought I was a dancer, but I'm a pretty good dancer.
Oh,
Just ask Joni.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Unbiased opinion there.
Anytime I get up to dance is a good dance for Joni. It's like such a reluctant dancer for so long. They might see me.
There we go. See, another one would be have some really solid soccer games. Made some good stops.
Mhm.
Was sharp.
Mhm.
That's a good day.
Mhm. You're a goalie, I understand. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm a the
Nice.
Yeah, you just have to get in the way. That's
right. That's
really
right.
basic. It's really basic.
It's a good skill to learn.
The trick is being fast enough to get in the way. And I would say one particular training I really enjoy doing, which is the agreement process, where I present the information and then the room divides up into small groups, and each one of those small groups goes through the process. And it's so alive,
Mhm.
and so many light bulbs are going on, and
Oh, that's
interchange.
cool.
It's just a really positive energy thing. I feel really good about that.
So you can watch people learn.
Well, and I'm not so
Adapt.
much watching, I'm contributing in the sense of either giving them the information and
Sure.
answering questions or nudging them like, no, not that one, this one. And it's just really good. Just to see that it made a difference.
And then sit for a second and find some joy in all that.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that a lot. So tell us about your legacy. What do you want to be remembered for? And sometimes I talk about a tombstone. What would it say on that? We saw some real entertaining ones up in Jacksonville, Oregon, that were some of them were very old, and some of them were very funny, and it was quite entertaining. So, at your celebration of life, what are we going to say about Tom Rector?
Well, let's see. Let's go to the tombstone. It should have a name and a dates on it, and that's all I need. So
Okay.
I just don't need any more.
Something simple.
I think probably the measure of whether I was successful or not is whether what I provided made a difference.
Mm-hmm. It's good. Yeah.
Whatever
Sounds like
it was.
You're doing a lot of providing these days.
Trying.
Yeah.
Trying.
I love it. Tell me, I have the boards that you've served on. So I'd love to hear about that just for a second before we do more shout outs on how to find you.
Okay.
You served on the CASA board, I think, correct?
So CASA of Humboldt for a few years, and then CASA of Humboldt set up, Steve Vallo, great guy, set up Del Norte County to have their own CASA organization, and I was part of the founding group for CASA of Del Norte, and I was there with that for many years.
Wow.
Actually, they got into a financial situation, and so I ended up being the volunteer executive director for a couple of years. The lady now who runs the show and has for a long time, Christine Saletti, she's just really great, really, really great. So those two boards, National Foster Parent Association, a national organization, was there for 4 years, and that was a new experience for me at a national level, and it was interesting to discover that it really isn't any different. It's the same thing. How do we get revenue, and how do we stay on target, and how do we make sure that we operate professionally? And it was an interesting experience from that standpoint. I was on basically the founding of Inside Sports. That was a futsal soccer program for couple decades.
That's indoor soccer stuff?
It's futsal is a soccer game of 5 members on a team, one keeper and 4 field, and it's played on a basketball court. Joe Homan and Jen Page were key people that brought the focus and the information, the knowledge of how that all works. It wouldn't happen without those two folks. And
Like a national level or local?
no, just here, just Humboldt County.
Holman, I recognize that name, Arcata.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Holmans up there.
Yeah, I know Joe. And, they served 500, 600 kids and adults, mostly kids, for year after year after year after year. Melissa Morrison, who ran the day-to-day stuff of it, she was just a gem and a jewel. And her husband, Patrick Stranahan, he was just right there all the time. So had really good people. And I just had to sign as president all those years.
Gotcha. Cool. So do you ever know Pete Shepard? He's a soccer. You ever knew Pete?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah. He led the Humboldt Rec program when I was right out of college and ran all the rural rec programs from Trinidad down to Bryceland.
Yeah.
Great guy. Really amazing.
Around a long time.
Yeah, a long time. So how do we get a hold of Tom Rector or the organization we need to besides ChatGPT or Google?
Well, it depends on what your needs are. Is that if you're in the world of adoption, foster parenting kinds of things, Accrescent Institute.
Okay.
If you're in the world of hardware and trusses and overhead doors and remodel stuff, Thomas Home Center.
.com. Pretty easy to find that.
Yeah.
Wow. So, hey, is there a book in the works?
There has been a book in the works for a long time. If aging is an important ingredient, I've got that covered. Right. So.
Well, there may come a time where you are able to settle in and write the book or two.
I've worked on it off and on, and clearly I am challenged about how to bring the information forward so that it connects to the multiple different audiences and yet not be sprayed all over the wall too. So somewhere, I'm sure Shannon will get me squared away and get me pointed.
You got a decent editor there. I think she'll probably get it done.
She's good.
Yeah. Shout out Shannon again. Hi, Shannon. So maybe videos too? Are there videos on the website? Or you do YouTubes?
There is, and each year where we set up different goals of what we have, and this 2026 is going to be focused more on creating YouTube content also. So it just keep growing. Yep. It's self-funded, and there's a certain amount of limitation there.
Yeah, they're limited resources. Hey, before I forget, you did win the Dick Taylor chocolate.
Oh, hallelujah.
So I just want you to...
Okay.
Does Shelley like chocolate?
She does, but...
I hope this makes it up to Oregon.
No.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really do. And thanks for listening. If you want to tune into us, we're at YouTube, all the podcast platforms. We love the positive reviews, comments. Like us, subscribe to us. Love us and like us, please. That would be amazing. And tell your friends. And thank you again, Tom Rector, for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Have a great one.
Thank you.